Hi. Hello.
Hi,
Hi.
it's Kathy Honestchuck. I'm not sure how to make my name appear.
You're the one on the iPad?
Yes,
Okay, I'll change it for you. If everyone could mute themselves.
Hi. Hello.
hi,
Hi.
it's Kathy
All
Honestchuck. I'm not sure how to make my name appear.
You're the one on the iPad?
Yes,
All right, that was kind of weird. Okay, that was, we've got names there, so apologies for the delay for our visitors. Our chair had a bit of a computer breakdown. He is rebooting and all that good stuff and will join us shortly. And in the meantime, we'll get the meeting started. I'm the vice chair, so I'll act in his stead until Bernie gets here. And our first order of business will be approval of the agenda. So a mover and a seconder, please, for the agenda. Bob and Gordon. Any additions to the agenda, Carrie?
No, not tonight.
All right. Anyone opposed to approving the agenda as published? The agenda is carried. Next, does anyone have any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Hearing and seeing none, we will begin with the hearings. Application 1B0622, George Ward and Carol Gallant. Carrie.
Thank you. So as mentioned, an application has been received from Ronald Ty, acting as agent for George Ward and Carol Gallant for the property known locally as 144 Mackey Lake Road. This application is a resubmission of an application 1B0121 and is for the creation of a new lot, creating one lot with an area of 7 hectares, leaving 180 hectares to be retained. The subject property fronts on Mackey Lake Road in Gorham Township, is designated as rural in the official plan and zoned rural in the zoning bylaw. The property is abutted by additional rural lots. So this application was originally before the board in early 2021, but has since lapsed and the conditions were not met. The proposed severed and retained lots will both meet the area and frontage requirements of the rural zone, and the proposed new lot will front on Pike Lake Road. The applicant will have to contact the Gorham Roads Board for an entrance permit if one does not already exist. We received agency comments from NDM stating that they have no concerns. And we received public comment from Ron and Carrie Bray stating that they are opposed to any access other than Pike Lake Road or Pike Lake Road, as Pike Lake Drive East, as shown on the sketch, is not maintained. The roads board approves the access, not the LRPB. So it does say in my report that entrance should be off of Pike Lake Road, which is what the applicants intend to do. So it would be my recommendation that this application be approved with the usual conditions. And Bernie is joining us now.
Hello, everyone. Sorry for the delay there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good, Bernie. You're
Yes.
now in charge.
Good. Okay, where are we at?
I just finished reading application 1B0622.
Okay. Were there any questions?
Yeah, I'm just wondering,
go ahead.
sorry, I was just wondering why the applicant only has 1 year to meet conditions when the other applicants actually have 2 years.
They have 2 years as well, because
Okay.
there's a typo in the report. Is that what you saw?
Yeah, I saw it on the bottom of the planning report under conditions. It just says they have 1 year.
Yeah.
to meet
It's
conditions.
they have 2 years.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. If there's no other questions, did we already ask if there was anyone that wants to speak in favor and against this application? We have not. So is there anyone that would like to speak in favor of this application?
Sorry,
Yes, please go ahead.
sorry, my name is Johan, and I apologize. My computer decided to reboot at the last minute and I just got on. So is this in regards to the proposal in regards to the new development of a lot?
It is. So we're the one we're dealing with right now is George Ward and Carol Gallant.
Okay, yeah, okay. So anyways, again, I apologize.
No worries. Okay, I had the same thing. So, okay, Mr. Toy, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to add that as Carrie mentioned, this is simply a resubmission of the application that was approved last March. And the reason why we are submitting the same application is simply because the applicant cannot or was not able to fulfill the conditions from the previous approval with regards to the wells, because the applicant was not able to hire a well driller in time before the expiry of the conditions. And the applicant has informed me that he is now on the waiting list for August of this year.
Okay, thank you for that. Is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this application?
I'm not speaking in opposition, but I have a question. The last time there was a meeting I participated in last year on the old application, and to my understanding, one of the conditions was that the driveway would be in on the Pike Lake Road. And when I got the conditions, I didn't see that. I believe I called Carrie and talked to her, and she said it wasn't a condition. It was part of the road board's requirements. So I'm not sure where the driveway is going to go. And there are some concerns in regards to, there's 4 camps that actually use a trail. It's not recognized by the roads board. We keep it open ourselves and we plow it. And when I heard the last time that it had to be on the Pike Lake Road, it wasn't a concern because that's where the driveway is. We don't have to worry about additional traffic. So I guess that's more of my question in regards to if that's a condition or not a condition.
Yeah, go ahead, Carrie.
So it's not a condition, but it's in my planning report that the access would be off of Pike Lake Road. They have to establish the entrance through the Gorham Roads Board though.
Right. So again, it's not a condition, but so the access could be anywhere, because even if you go off, my property butts up at the end of the road on, it's Pike Lake South. Yeah, Pike Lake South Road. And mine butts up there. And if somebody wanted to continue and put a driveway there, they would be encroaching my property in order to access that. So there is a couple issues, and I understand my neighbor, Ron Boucher, was going to send in a submission as well with the same concerns in regards to the driveway. So again, I'm not opposed to it, to the subdividing. It's just a question of increased traffic on a road that's not a road, I guess, would be the one. Because I did talk to some people that were interested in purchasing the property last summer, and they were going to do, they wanted to do a weekly cabin rental. It's down by the water. And if they were doing that, then you got a bunch of people that are coming into our area in regards to that, don't really care. They're just there. And excess, additional traffic with kids playing around and kids playing on the beach.
Oh, yeah.
So Carrie, obviously the only way that can work that it would be a legal consent was that it has to have frontage on a road, correct?
Yes, it has to be a maintained road. So where the Gorham Roads Board provides a permit for an entrance off of a maintained road. It has to be a maintained road. My report says that the access will be off of Pike Lake Road, which I don't think is of concern from what Joe is saying. The roads board is not going to provide an entrance permit on an unmaintained road.
Okay, hopefully that allays your concerns, Mr. Hanlon.
Yeah, anyways, I address my concerns, but if it's not a condition, people can still access the other road, same road as we do. They'll still access that and possibly build down in that area is the concern. They can have a driveway up on the top end because it is a big, long stretch. So if they have a driveway up on the top end, that's fine. They spend a couple $1,000s, put a culvert in a driveway. But again, what it comes down to is the access down by the lake, and the access would be down where we are. So again, if it was a part of the condition that it would be the driveway be up there, no problem. But if it's not a condition, it's just I guess a saying that the condition is the driveway will go up here. It doesn't address our concern. But look, I'm not sitting here to argue with you. I'm just trying to let you know some of our concerns and our issues in regards to a trail is pretty much what we're working with. So.
Okay, so Mr. Hanlon, the trail that you refer to, whose property is it on right now?
It's on a number of people's property, and
Okay.
and actually, you even go with this lot. This lot would be part and parcel of it. But because he's never opened that road or never had it, we never had any additional traffic.
Okay.
So saying that is that there is part of it that's Crown land and part of it that is other people's own property. And we have agreement with regards to access to go across that. And we're not trying to get into any big legal fights or anything else in regards to who's crossing whose property. I just wanted to come here, read the proposal, and George Ward and I have talked in regards to what he wants to do. It's not a huge concern. It's just the driveway and the access. But anyways, he's going to sell it, and whoever buys it, then we got to deal with them. And if this was in there, that the condition is that that driveway has to be up there, then that would relieve our issues and our problems. And he can go ahead and sell it, and people want to work something out, we can work something out. Right now, we're at the 3 camps that are there. We're looking at spending money to get the road, our trail fixed up, get some gravel hauled in and plowed, so are graded. Anyways.
Go ahead, Carrie.
The entrance has to be put in by the applicant prior to them selling it anyways, because that's what constitutes a legal lot. So if you've already spoken with the applicant and their intention is to put the entrance on Pike Lake Road, that's where it would be through permits with the Gorham Roads Board. So there would be no way for us to prevent a second access through the trail that you're speaking of.
Right.
But that access point will be off of Pike Lake Road through the Gorham Roads Board.
All right. I need to express our concern, so I've done that, and let you make your decision. But I appreciate you listening.
Okay, no, we certainly appreciate that you expressed your concerns, and hopefully, yeah. I mean, we're like Carrie said, we're bound to make sure that there's an access, and the access will be coming off of a maintained road. So that's all we really have any power to do here. So whether it's someone chooses to use a private trail, that's, I guess, something that's outside of our power to deal with. Is there any other questions on this application? Okay, then we'll move on to 1B/0922 and 1B/1022, Sandra White and Catherine Onischuk. Adrian Catherine Onischuk, New Lots O'Connor.
Okay, I'm signing out. Thank you very much again. Bye now.
Okay, so 2 applications have been received from Catherine. Honest Chuck acting as agent for Sandra White and herself, who are joint owners of the land. The property is known locally as 187 Connolly Road in O'Connor Township. These applications both propose to create a new lot with an area of 2 hectares, leaving 23 hectares to be retained. The subject property fronts on Connolly Road, is designated as rural in the official plan and zoned rural in the zoning bylaw. The properties are abutted by additional rural lots. The proposed severed and retained lots will both meet the area and frontage requirements of the rural zone. The proposed new lots will front on Connolly Road, and the applicant will have to contact the O'Connor Township in order for entrance permits, should those not already exist. Agency comments were received from the Lakehead Region Conservation Authority stating that they have no objections. We also received comment from NDM stating that they have no concerns. O'Connor Council passed resolution approving these severances with the condition that road allowances must go to the township. So it would be my recommendation that both applications be approved with the usual conditions, including one that states that unless previously established, a 20-meter road allowance measured 10 meters from either side of the center line of the traveled road be laid out as part of the reference plan of survey, and that the part be transferred to the township.
Thank you, Carrie. Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of this application? I see we have the applicant in attendance, and there's no need to speak if you don't wish to, but it's you're certainly welcome to. Okay. Is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition to the application? Seeing none, is there any questions from the board for the planner or the applicant? Okay, that's simple. We'll move on to the next application. 1B/11/22, Leonard Adams, new lot in Ware.
Okay, thank you. So this application has been received from Leonard Adams for the property known locally as 3440 East Otto Road. This application for consent proposes to create one new lot of 16.18 hectares, leaving a retained lot of 64.75 hectares. The subject property has frontage on a new road maintained by the Ware Roads Board. There was an email that was sent from Ed Hill, who is the president of the Roads Board, confirming that this is in fact a maintained road, but it will not be named until their board meeting this fall. The property is designated as rural in the official plan and zoned rural in the zoning bylaw. It's abutted by additional rural lots. The proposed severed and retained lots meet the area and frontage requirements of the rural zone. The proposed new lot will front on a maintained Ware Roads Board road. This road will be surveyed out and registered so as to create the lot on the north of the road and the lot to the south of the road, which is the subject of this consent. So the natural severance is going to happen first, which is a condition of this consent, so that there's 2 years for that to happen. Because otherwise surveying out the road creates 2 new lots, which is not permitted any other way. So the applicant has to contact the Ware Roads Board for the entrance permit. We did receive agency comments from NDM stating that they have no concerns, and no comments from the public were received. So it would be my recommendation that this application be approved with the usual conditions, including a condition that says the new road be surveyed out and legally registered to create a natural severance, splitting the existing lot into 2 on the north of one to the north of the road and one to the south. The one to the south is the one that is currently the subject of this application.
Okay, thank you for that, Carrie. Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of this application? I believe we do have the applicant in attendance this evening.
Hi, I'm here.
I have a question.
Go, is this Mr. Adams?
This is Brad Bellemare.
Go ahead.
Our lot backs onto that property, and I'm just wondering what the plan is for that lot. Is it going to get totally cleared of bush, or is it going to be just like maybe a house put in there, or what?
Are you speaking to Leonard Adams? Or are you speaking to the board?
Well, I'm speaking to whoever is going to develop this land.
We don't have, the board doesn't have any control over what happens on the property as far as tree clearing. But since we do have the applicant in attendance, if the applicant would like to respond, that's certainly a good time to do so. Go ahead.
Sure. You don't have to worry about any trees getting cut. It's not happening as long as I'm going to be owning it, that's for sure. Nothing's really going to change. There's been an old homestead there for 125 years, I believe. And I don't think this is going to affect it all. There's a garage there. The house has been torn down. A little house is going to be going in there. So, I mean, that's the plan. Right,
Okay.
straightforward with you, buddy.
Yep, perfect. That sounds great. Thank you.
So
I appreciate-
whereabouts, if you don't mind me asking, whereabouts is your property?
we're on 42 Posters Road.
42 Posters Road.
Yep. So our lot will back onto that property, or does back
Okay.
on.
All right.
All
There you
right.
go.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
See you there sometime, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this application? Seeing none, is there any questions from the board for the planner or the applicant? No. Okay, so hopefully any concerns that were raised by the one commenter have been resolved. So we will move on to the last application for the public meeting today, 1B/12/22. Suzanne and Carl Cheval, new lot in Ware.
Thank you. So an application has been received from Suzanne Cheval, acting as agent on behalf of herself and Carl Cheval for the property known locally as 3370 East Otto Road. This application proposes to create a new lot of 2 hectares, leaving a retained lot of 23.27 hectares. The subject property has frontage on East Otto Road, designated as rural in the official plan and zoned rural in the zoning bylaw. The properties are abutted by additional rural lots. The proposed severed and retained lot will meet both the area and frontage requirements of the rural zone. The proposed new lot will front on East Otto Road. The odd shape of the new lot is a result of having to avoid an existing driveway and bush road created by the original owners. The applicant will have to contact the Ware Roads Board for an entrance permit if one does not already exist. The agency comments received on this file were only from the NDM, stating that they have no concerns, and no comments from the public were received. So it would be my recommendation that this application for the creation of a new lot be approved with our usual conditions.
Okay, thank you for that, Carrie. Is there anyone that would like to speak in support of this application this evening? So it appears we have the applicant in attendance. Once again, if they would like to add something, and there's no need to do that if they don't feel there is any need to. Okay, is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition to this application? And is there any questions from the board for the planner or the applicant? Seeing none. Okay. That is it for applications to be considered. We can move on to the next item on the agenda, debate and decisions relating to applications held in abeyance. Is there anything to do with that?
No, we do not have any applications in abeyance.
Okay. Then we will adjourn the public meeting. Can I get a seconder to adjourn the public meeting, please? Rudy and Gordon. It's been moved and seconded that the May 5th, 2022 public meeting of the Lake Royal Planning Board be adjourned, the time being 6:02 p.m. Anyone in opposition to that? Seeing none, we'll move to our next agenda. So I will call this meeting to order. And can I get a mover and a seconder to approve the agenda of the regular meeting? Bob and Axel, it's been moved and seconded that the May 2nd, 2022 regular meeting agenda of the Lake Royal Planning Board be approved. Is there anyone in opposition to this? Seeing none. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest in tonight's proceedings? Nope, that's good. And we have no deputation scheduled. And we have some bylaws and resolutions to look at. So the first one, Carrie. Is there anything to add or anything to?
I don't have anything to add unless the board wants to add a condition specific to the entrance, although other than being given a permit from the roads board, there's really not anything further that we could do on that.
Okay, go ahead, Bob.
Thank you. Just a point of clarification, because the last application was an example. I had noticed that there hadn't been an approval on the entrance. And then it was explained, of course, in your preamble on the review of the of the bylaw. What I'm coming from is, even though in that particular case there hasn't been an actual approval of a road or an entrance, we're still okay to move ahead with approval of the application. I'm sorry, I'm a bit confused because I feel that when I approve the application, I'm approving the severance, and yet, if I understand it correctly, it can't take place until there's an entrance, and maybe I'm misunderstanding.
The entrance has to be in place for the Thunder Bay District Health Unit to go out and do the septic testing and all of that stuff. So the roads board is responsible for providing those entrances.
Mhm.
We've never had a method to track them, but that is the roads board's position out there.
So in other words, we make an assumption that that process will take place. If all other matters in regards to the lot are okay, we just move ahead and let that process take care of itself. Is that, do I understand it correctly?
That's correct.
Okay.
It can be a condition that we place onto the applications. But then we would just be required for them to submit the permit that they get from the roads board.
Okay, in other words, unless we are really concerned, typically we don't ask for that as a condition on the application.
That's correct. Only
Okay.
because it's not something that we provide.
Okay, no, that's fine. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just trying to get a handle on it. Thanks.
Any other questions or concerns on this application? Seeing none, can I get a mover and a seconder to approve this application? If Bob and Alex, it has been moved and seconded that the application 1B/066/22 from George Ward and Carol Gallant for the purpose of a new lot on the property legally known as Gorham Concession 7, part lots 9 to 11, part mining location T233 PCLS 11276 11943 and 9232 TBF Geographic District of Thunder Bay as set forth in the application be approved with conditions. Is there anyone in opposition to this resolution? Seeing none, it is approved. We will move on to the second one. Do we have any questions or concerns or anything to add, Carrie, to this one?
I do not. When I spoke with Catherine about the applications, she did indicate that her intention in the future would be to do a lot addition. So to remove that retained lot and add it to a parcel that's on the other side of the property right now. But she did not want to go ahead with that application at this time.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a mover and a seconder for this one? Gordon and Bob. It's been moved and seconded, resolution 061-2022, that the application 1B09/22 from Catherine Onischuk and Sandra White for the purpose of a new lot on the property legally known as Concession 3, part north half of lot 9, RP 55R1920, part 3, PT Part 7 PCL 18340 O'Connor Township Geographic District of Thunder Bay as set forth in the application be approved with conditions. Is there anyone in opposition to this as application and resolution? Seeing none, it is approved. We'll move on to the next one, 062-2022. Anything else to add, Carrie?
No, they were advised that the natural severance needed to happen before we could go ahead with the severance application, but there was concern around the number of lots remaining in the unincorporated area. So he wanted to get the application in, knowing that he has 2 years to meet those conditions. So
Okay, so we actually still have to deal with the other one in O'Connor.
oh, I'm
I'm
sorry.
guessing, no worries. I'm guessing you were referring to the one from Mr. Adams.
I was, yes.
No worries. Okay, I'm guessing you have nothing to add for the one for O'Connor.
I do not.
I will ask for a mover and a seconder for the second application in O'Connor, Mr. Crane and Mr. Nowak. It's been moved and seconded that the application 1B/10/22 from Catherine Honestchuk and Sandra White for the purpose of a new lot in the property legally known as Concession 3, Part North Half, Lot 9, RP 551920, Part 3, Part 7. What does PT stand for? Does that actually stand for part?
Part, yeah.
Part, so is there part?
Part.
I guess so. 7 PCL 18340, O'Connor Township, Geographic District of Thunder Bay, as set forth in the application, be approved with conditions. Is there anyone in opposition to this resolution? Seeing none, it is approved. Now we will move on to Mr. Adams in Ware. Anything else to add that you've already added? Guessing not.
No.
Rudy, go ahead.
If I'm understanding you correctly, Carrie, it's 2 years for the natural consent?
The provincial government changed everything in January of this year. They used to have 1 year to meet all the conditions of consent. Now they have 2.
Okay, so, yeah, all right. So everybody now has 2 years to meet conditions is what you're saying.
That's correct.
Yeah, all right.
It's a substantial difference. Any other questions or concerns for this application? Seeing none, can I get a mover and a seconder for this application? Mr. McMaster and Mr. Butenhuis. It's been moved and seconded that the application 1B, wait, I'm on the wrong one too. Hang on. Here we go. It's moved and seconded that the application 1B/11/22 from Leonard Adams for the purpose of a new lot on the property legally known as Concession 5, North Part Lot 5, PCL 9410 TBF, Ware Township, Geographic District of Thunder Bay, as set forth in the application, be approved with conditions. Is there anyone in opposition to this application? Seeing none, it is approved. And the last one this evening. Do you have anything to add, Carrie?
I do not.
Thank you. Can I get a mover and a seconder for this resolution? Mr. McMaster and Gordon. It has been moved and seconded, resolution 064-2022, that the application 1B/12/22 from Carl and Suzanne Cheval for the purpose of a new lot on the property legally known as Ware Concession 5, south of Part Lot 5, RP 55R 14691, Part 2, Geographic District of Thunder Bay, as set forth in the application, be approved with conditions. Is there anyone in opposition to this application? Seeing none, it is now approved. Okay, we will move on to minutes of the previous meeting, which everyone has had a chance to look at and peruse. And do we have 2 people that would be willing to move and second these minutes? Rudy and Bob. It's been moved and seconded that the Lake Earl Planning Board approves the minutes of the April 7th, 2022 public meeting as presented. Any questions or concerns with the minutes? Errors or omissions? Anyone in opposition to this resolution? Seeing none, we will move on. That is approved. And the second set of minutes, can I also get a mover and a seconder? Bob and Axel. It's been moved and seconded that the Lake Earl Planning Board approves the minutes of the April 7th, 2022 regular meeting as presented. Are there any errors or omissions or concerns with the minutes that were presented? Seeing none, is there anyone in opposition to the resolution to approve the minutes? Seeing none, the minutes are hereby approved. And we will move on to the next item on our agenda, matters arising from the minutes. Is there any matters arising from the minutes, Carrie?
No, there is not.
Thank you. Reports, financials as of April 25th, 2022. I will let you take us through those, Carrie.
Okay, so in an effort to make this clearer, I decided that we're gonna do an as of for the board. So if there is something that you would like to see differently than this, please let me know and we can try something new for next month. But this just indicates where we're at as far as meeting the budget and our expenditures at this point. So we now have some additional legal fees to add to the budget line there for consulting and legal fees. So we may be over budget on that one, but we weren't necessarily anticipating all of the legal fees that would be required. We are in the process of getting everything to the auditor right now, waiting for the final review of that for the board to approve. And then you'll see the larger sums, the provincial levy, and then the Oliver Papoonge contract. Those happen in tandem, and that's usually early fall.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions on the statements, the financial statements that have been presented for this meeting? Okay, no, thanks for that information. So the plan is to have one of these every month?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Bob, if you have a concern or a question.
Just a general one, and I apologize, Carrie, you mentioned the legal fees, of course. I'm just curious about how that's managed, given that so much of what we're looking at is unorganized areas, and we're doing so under, if you would, contract with the province and the provincial levy. Is it ever broken down as to how that levy is sorry, not levy, but the provincial, provincial levy, how that's broken down as to how we manage that fund? And again, what I'm looking at here is the legal fees, the ones that were obviously the ones that are on my mind are the ones most recent and new. So how do we manage that? Is there any prescribed way that we work with that?
No, we receive that amount and then 30,000 of it goes and gets paid to Oliver Papoonge. The remaining covers the other expenditures that we have to a point. Some years we have additional funds, and this year we'll likely not. But other very specifically broken down, no, we don't do that.
Okay, thanks. Again, it's because it's quite a bit different, I guess. It's not a little, it's quite a bit different this year with the current legal matters that are being managed. And I'm just curious as to, it strikes me, I'm new, so I apologize for this. It strikes me that this is a new level of legal demand this year as opposed to past years. And, how we budget for legal costs. I'm just trying to learn a little bit, I guess, more about how we manage those things, especially in what I'm seeing as being somewhat unusual on the legal side this year. Now, I could be great out to lunch, and anybody else, don't hesitate to tell me I'm out to lunch, but I'm just trying to understand how we apply a budget to something like that.
It is very difficult because there's really no way to anticipate whether or not we're going to have large legal issues. There was in the past a large legal lawsuit that took place, and I believe we approached the provincial government for assistance financially there, and I do believe we received a large sum of money to cover those costs, but they did treat it as a one-off. I'm not sure if that's something that's going to happen every time or not.
Okay, thanks. Again, just maybe something we could keep an eye on, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other questions on the financials that have been presented? Okay, seeing none. We'll move on to correspondence. We have 4 items of correspondence. Do you want to go through them or?
Well, the first
Okay.
3 are just notices of passing. The final one is a notice of an amendment. It's again in the city of Thunder Bay. It doesn't abut any of our lands even closely. So I have not got any comments for them, but if the board does, we can submit them.
Does the board have any comments for the stuff going on in our neighborhood to the east? No? Okay, we'll move on then. Do we have any new business?
The only new business that I wanted to bring up was Chelsea and I did complete the count as best we could for Gorman Ware. So we went back to, I believe it was 1987 to now. So we, as of 2020, we have 7 lots remaining. Sorry, 2021, we have 7 lots remaining. The issue that we have now is the 2-year wait period to complete the count. So any applications that we have this year, if we don't get the transfer documents quickly, then we don't know that they went through. So we're going to be in a position where, so if we have 7 applications, we have 3 already of those 7 that people have applied for next month. So if we go through those lots quickly, it'll be a sort of us saying no, and then first come, first serve if we realize over the next 2 years or past that we have more lots available. I mean, hopefully we'll have a new official plan by that point and we won't have to worry about it. But there's definitely going to be a lengthy period of time where we are just denying applications.
And then we'll be contributing to the housing crisis in this country.
Correct.
It's will be part of the problem.
However,
So,
even once the new official plan is done, the government has already mandated that unincorporated and unorganized areas aren't allowed to have new residential lots created anyways, only seasonal. They still don't have a way to define that, so it's going to be a problem regardless, but they don't want permanent lots created in those areas. There's no services to take care of that. So it's, I mean, really, that we're starting to say no soon, and then basically for always, probably.
a comment, Rudy?
No, question actually, Bernie. When you told us that there are 7 lots remaining, that's accounting for already conditionally approved lots that haven't been done, or that's only lots that haven't met all their conditions and are duly registered? Like, really what I'm asking is, are there another 25 or 30 conditionally approved applications already sitting there just waiting to get meet conditions?
No, we counted all of the lots that we have approved. And because in 2019, we switched over to stamping final transfers rather than providing consent certificates, it's a lot easier to track now. So once we get this, I stamp the transfer, then we know that it's completed. So the 7 remaining lots are based on the fact that everything prior to that, we know for sure has gone through. And that's counting the ones that we have done so far this year, in theory, meaning that they will go through. But again, there's that 2-year period now that we're not really going to know unless I for sure get those transfer documents.
Bob?
Do the residents and property owners in these areas have an understanding of what's coming up? And I think you're right, Carrie. I think what you're saying is this is going to be a permanent situation of no when we hit that 200 mark. Is there anything that can be or should be done to let folks know that this is on the horizon, the immediate horizon, and it's not us, it's the government of the province? I'm just curious. Thanks.
Really, the only way that we have right now to tell people is that they call and ask us. I'm not sure how we would get that information out otherwise. It's in our official plan. Also, if we were to do some sort of high-end, here's this information, I am not sure that we would be able to handle the influx of people who are trying to get into that last 5 slots right now. So
You could ask if there would be any benefit. Again, I'm just throwing it out. Is there a benefit if we were to put something more specific in the way of a notice or something on the website, just to, you know, bring people's attention to it? Again, I'm just throwing this out. I don't know that I think it's a good idea one way or the other, but I just have this nasty feeling a lot of folks are going to be looking at us as being the bad guys here, and we're not. And also that we're throwing up roadblocks that we're not responsible for. That's just what we have to live with at the moment.
I spoke with the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, asking what the options were also, which I believe I discussed at the last meeting briefly. There is nothing else to do. So when we are telling folks no, we will direct them to the ministry. They also can choose to still submit an application, regardless of what I say. That is their right. But it would be in the form of an official plan amendment, which gets circulated to the ministry, and would likely receive a no at that end also. So it's limited options, and there's not a lot that we can do. I mean, obviously we can post anything you'd like on the website. It's up to the board. I'm not sure if it's beneficial in any way to just anger the people in a group. But it's completely up to the board. We can do anything that you'd like.
Well, thanks, Carrie. I don't have a solution per se one way or the other. I just feel that maybe we need to just put it on the table and talk about it for a few moments and just remember this is coming. It's real. And we are the planning board, and that's where folks are going to be looking in this direction. I just don't know whether there's anything we can, as you alluded to, maybe should do. Sometimes being proactive is not necessarily always the best approach, because then people got their hackles up and maybe wouldn't have even cared. Thanks. Anyway, sorry. Thanks very much.
Go ahead, Rudy.
Yeah, I think we're on the right course, Carrie, in terms of, we keep taking applications. If we were to put something on the website that says, X number of lots remaining, your inbox and your phone are going to be ringing off the hook. And who do we pick first, second, and third?
Right.
By just doing business as normal until number X is done. And then I agree 100% with Bob. Then we post on the website, sorry, because of the official plan limits, we are no longer able to process applications for consents. Provincial policy statement number X says this. And why do we even need to worry about redoing the official plan if we're not going to be able to do any more consents anyway? We talked about a feasibility study to justify more lots in that area, and if the policy statement prevents that from happening, why waste money on it?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Rudy, I like that approach. I agree with your approach. I think that is the right thing. Run it right down to the end and say, folks, they're gone. That's it. Yeah, I like that.
Any other comments or questions on this topic? Okay, seeing none. We have no requirement for a closed session, so we also have no matters arising from the closed session. Is there anything else for this meeting from anyone attending? Go ahead, Rudy.
Jerry, there was a phone call during the public meeting. Did you manage to get that person identified?
There was a phone call.
A phone caller, someone called in on the telephone.
So David, our newest or our second newest board member, is out of town, and he said that he was going to call in. So I
Okay.
believe that was him. He must have not been able to stay connected. He said that he would only join if he was able to.
Yeah, all right. It's just like all it showed up on my screen was call in number 3 or something like that, and no name with it, right? And
Yeah, that
for
was
the public record, there should be something there that there was an extra caller.
yeah, that was.
Maybe you can confirm with David if it was him first, and then go from there.
We did. He I believe he emailed Chelsea.
Thank you.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else for this meeting, can I get a mover and a seconder for the final resolution? Bob and Rudy, it's been moved and seconded that the May 5th, 2022 regular meeting of the Lakewood Rural Planning Board be adjourned, the time being 6:28 p.m. Anyone in opposition to this? Seeing none, thank you everyone this evening, and I hope you are able to get out and enjoy the weather.